name is Marcus Lim. I've been a variety correspondent for quite a number of years. I'm also a writer-director, and my latest film is on Netflix Europe, which is a bit like saying I've got a girlfriend in Malaysia. You can see it, but you know, she doesn't really exist. But my film really does exist, and it's on Netflix Europe. But enough about me. Awesome, all these great actors next to me. I want to say first and foremost, I just realized it's a wireless mic, so it's going to bring it closer to you. What I like to do, we have 45 minutes on the clock, and that, if my math is correct, leads me to about 7.5 minutes per person. That's terrible, that's nothing. And I still do want to open it up to some questions from the floor. Probably we'll take the last 5 minutes to take 1 or 2 questions, okay? So, one of the aims I want to have with the panel here is, you know, we want to try and explore and publicize the performances that are being nominated. But I think we also want to really explore the craft of acting, and more importantly, how they relate to us in this part of the world. You know, the way we act, the way our roles are created, the way we commission our shows, very different than the rest of the world. So I think my first question for everyone here, and you guys can take it in whichever way you want to take it, is, can you all give us a sense of the industry in your country at the moment? You know, what roles are you encountering more? What kind of genres do you see being made more? And what kind of challenges are you guys facing as actors? Anyone? Guys, 7.5 minutes.
I'll go. Yeah, definitely. I'm Arjo. Good afternoon to everyone. Our country is struggling, knowing that the Philippines is not supported by the government. I'm sure there are other countries as well. But there's a lot of struggles that we're going through, given the situation of the industry, the global impact of this pandemic, and the rest of our problems as well. But the state of our industry is struggling in a sense to get into the international market, given that we have so much stories untold in the Philippines, so much locations that have not been used by any international productions as well. So the struggle is there. And I'm sorry, what was the second?
What kind of shows are being made now? What kind of roles do you see being, you know, that you're seeing more of nowadays?
Roles itself, I think definitely sticking to our strength, which is drama. We have action as well, and thrillers as well is one of the things that Filipinos are really good at, and we're pushing for those types of content. And yeah, so far that's what we've been doing.
And I mean, sorry, just to jump in, because it's the Philippines, a lot of romantic comedies as well, I'm sure. A lot of romances, or are they?
Yes, but definitely the romance right now is for our local market, as far as I'm concerned. And the ones for international that we push are stories untold in the Philippines. And that's what we're focusing on right now, stories that haven't been told. And slowly, with different productions getting in the limelight of recognition, it is very much an honor as well for us, because as I said, we need all the help that we could get, starting from the government with all the possible incentives that we could give other countries, so that we could be competitive in terms of accepting and you know, welcoming all these other countries in the Philippines.
Great, Arjo. Anyone want to chime in?
So, hi, I'm Vijay Verma from India. Can you hear me?
This mic is not no, sorry, you got to press a little.
Check. Yeah, it's working fine now. Hi, I'm Vijay Verma from India, and we make a lot of films, and we make the most number of films, most number of TV shows, streaming shows. TikTok is banned. TikTok is banned in India, but I guess the kind of movies and the stories that are coming out now are more diverse than ever. Stories about scams, people running away from national money, and all such stories are coming to the forefront, which is very refreshing. There's a lot of, I think crime as a genre is a very big, it's a big thing in India. There's a lot of crime stories being told. There's a lot of family dramas being told. Personally, I get offered a lot of crime related stories, but I'm making taking a bit of a break from them and doing other kind of softer stories.
For hero or villain, that's an important thing, right?
So yeah, I mean the kind of stories I have chosen, I've worked a lot with female directors, so they have a way of showing bad men in a way that doesn't glorify them. So I think that that's the shift I noticed. Although we have extremely villainous character portrayed as heroes in a industry as well, but we're changing.
Keep that in mind because we're definitely going to go back to that one.
Yeah.
Yeah, this button here.
Okay. Hi, I'm Andy. I'm from Singapore. I think Singapore has a very small population in comparison to anybody else, and that actually caps us at a very financially capped at a certain amount of profit we can get through our productions, and that has been our state for a very long time. I feel, and we've been stuck to like smaller stories, like heartland stories, and maybe sitcoms and stuff. Just smaller stories. And the recent years, I've been seeing producers and directors trying to break free from that. From a producing point of view, financial point of view, I see them trying to collaborate with other countries, Taiwan, Indonesia, Malaysia, so that by expanding upon the finance part of it, you're able to tell bigger stories that require a certain amount of capital, right? And I see that, and I think that's encouraging. I can bang the table and say, oh, we should make bigger film, better stories and stuff, but you know, sometimes facts are facts. And I see the financial part of it, and I'm quite encouraged. And I think there's a lot of partners here, then I'm hoping to see that we have a lot of collaborations. And there's so many history and stories of the region. And I definitely hope to see that we can work together and get something interesting and different done, for sure, yeah. Maybe Stray, because he's also from Singapore.
All right, thank you for putting me on the spot, Andy. Yes, I think, okay, I'm gonna not go into the financial bit. I feel like I'm gonna talk about it more from a creative standpoint. I feel in Singapore, a lot of nostalgia tends to sell. So I at least in my career here so far, it's a lot of period dramas. I see a lot of stories harkening back to a different time, which as an actor is fun because I love to go into a different time period and you know, play characters from a different age. So as an actor, that is enjoyable, and I'm thankful that my roles have all been different. So as a minority in Singapore as well, it's nice to see that our characters now are written with that depth, and we have sort of a diverse range of roles coming up for us.
Hi, good day. I'm Yuvraj from Malaysia, but I'm proud and honored to be representing Singapore here. And because I concurrently do projects in Malaysia and Singapore, and Singapore is basically is close to, you know, it's like my home as well. So talking about the state of the industry of Malaysia and Singapore, I see the diaspora is somewhat similar because the culture, the cinema climate and the environment's almost similar to Malaysia. So what I feel is like, of course, I'm going to touch on the financial part and the restrictions and the challenges that we face making movies, films, and etc. The state of the industry, you can narrow me down to the Indian market, I would say. Looking at the Indian market, we face a lot of challenges where be it the free medium up to the OTT platforms and cinema, we face challenges as in to make a film or a movie successful. There is a big challenge because not only we face competitions from movies from India, Bollywood movies, Hollywood movies, and all those films, we also face what I would say to have a healthy run in the cinemas. It's a big challenge because locally Malaysians and Singapore we watch Malay films, Chinese films, international films, Indian films. So being a minority as an Indian in the Malaysian market, to create Indian film locally with a local essence and making it successful is a challenge. But of course, of course, the state of the industry is on the incline because we have support from the channels, from the OTT and stuff like that, and that means a lot of doors, a lot of platforms for opportunities. That means as an actor, you face a lot of competitions as well. If you at a point you put all the hard work in, and you take a spot, and you're well recognized as an actor, but you're never safe there. So, there are a lot of platforms to see incredible talents, and then overnight someone can just overtake you. And talking about the roles that I've done, I think um, for an actor is always your past projects, or any scriptwriters or casting directors or directors, when they see you, your past projects gives a comprehensive impression about what you are capable of. And I think usually I do the boy next door character. I think it's the way I look, a simple boy next door kind of role. And yeah, so I think that kind of the roles that I land. So yeah, I don't want to finish my 7 minutes right here itself. I have more questions. So I'll end it here. So yeah.
Well, I have to say, if we are going to have a panel on the insecurities that actors face, we'll be here all day and well into tomorrow as well. But I'd like to take you up on that because it's a nice segue into my next question. And you talked about casting directors. So I want to ask everyone a little bit of a mischievous question, and I'll explain why later. Do you choose the roles, or do the roles choose you? And then the question is, what's your criteria in accepting roles? And it's mischievous because it actually kind of tells you who doesn't have to audition and who does have to audition. So who wants to pick that up?
So I always firmly believe that you chose the role. You choose at every stage of what you want to do. It doesn't stop at just choosing the role, what to do with the role, what to do with each scene. I feel like I don't like the saying when they say beggars can't be choosers. For artists, you can choose at any stage in your life, and it is somehow very strange that often the roles that are coming to you could reflect or could coincide with events or feelings that are going on in your personal life. And that can completely give you an impression that, oh, did I attract this? Did this? So when you say the role chose you, it can give an impression like that, but it is always you deciding whether you want to do this role or not. I mean, at a stage where you have multiple choices, but when you don't have and you need that job, then I can say that the role chose you.
So actually, a lot. I mean, it's also really a question of the, of economics and art. Because the question is, when you took it as you have your own idea of what the role entails. But the question I would really want to ask is, how does casting work in this industry? Do people actually really come to you, or do you have to go and do you go and participate in auditions?
Yeah.
What is the process? What is the actor's life like in this part of the world?
So for me, sorry, I'll just keep this short. Sure. For me, it was simple because I don't come with a name attached, like a family attached to the business. I had to start from scratch. And at that stage, auditions were the only key or only window through which people could look at me. And I had to do a good job at those to get a role or get recommended for another one. So that was the process until one day, one of my film did well, and I received a letter from very big Indian superstar, a legendary actor called Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. He sent me a.
Who's that?
So he sent me a handwritten letter saying that I enjoyed your work in Gully Boy, And I posted that on Instagram. I said, I will not audition anymore because I've got the validation from the best.
No. And have you had to audition since?
I have not auditioned.
Wow, what a okay. Well, everyone else, please jump in. Yeah, Arjo, maybe you want to take this.
Well, it works. I think it works differently for every country, right? For us, as a newbie, we always had to audition for all these certain roles, and eventually, once they get the hang of your genre or your strength, then they'll call you for it. I've been this is a few years that I've been leading in roles as well, because I started off 12 years ago, and I was always a character actor and I always think I am. No matter what, I'll always be proud of that. But auditions always start for the Philippines. It always starts at the beginning, and then eventually they start, molding you into this certain position, and obviously they'll call you for the role. If I were to choose a role or not, yes, I think both ways. You can choose, but sometimes it's not just the role, but it's a production who chooses you. So once they choose me or any actor, I think the right discipline to that is, it's always going to be a challenge, no matter role what it is. At the end of the day, once they give me the role, I'm like, how the hell am I going to do this, right? But once there's a problem, you always have to find a solution. You always have to go through that bridge, that hill, right? So, I guess answering the question for me, it goes both ways. I think you could choose a role, but at the end of the day, sometimes, production people have different brains. I respect my director. I respect the whole production. They see something you don't, and I think I believe in that. For as long as everyone's in the boat, in the same page, pushing content, making good content. And besides that, just really having fun. That's what's important to me. So again, choosing a role and the role choosing you, it goes both ways for me.
Yeah, I agree. I think, well, at least in Singapore, I think auditioning has always been, you have to audition for a part. But I feel, early on, I would be auditioning for anything and everything. And now it's gotten to a point where I think the roles come, but you still test for them. So it's not like, the role's there and then you just turn up on set and, I'm not at that level. But I think having the opportunity to come in for a test, be invited for a test, to try out for a role is a big privilege. And it's a very exciting thing when that happens, because that they have you as a possibility in their minds. So they've probably seen you in the role in some way. So that always excites me, because, it makes me wonder, all right, how would I play this character? How could I really see myself as that role? And when it comes to choosing the role, I also feel like even once you get it, you still make the role yours, in every aspect of the way. Even with, Vijay Kapoor that I, played in Tito Tao, initially the character's name was Vijay Sivakumar. And when I got cast, I told them, I said, I can't play a Sivakumar. If you want a Sivakumar, you should cast someone else, because that would not be authentic. And so they said, no, we want to cast you. So would you suggest an alternative name? So I had the opportunity to also work with the creators collaboratively to give my character his own name. And I chose Kapoor, of course, because of the Kapoor family in Bollywood. My character's a film director in the 60s. So I thought that would be perfect if he was an offshoot of, this family somewhere drifting along in the ether, forgotten. So I think choosing your character also comes even after you're cast, and really making it your own. So.
And that's really just for those who maybe don't quite get the nuances. Basically, the difference between a South Indian character and a North Indian character.
Yes,
right?
We would look different, we would sound different. So I didn't want to play a South Indian character because I'm not ethnically South Indian. So.
Right. That's a very interesting point. Andy and Yuvraj, any?
Okay. You choose the roles or the role chooses you. I think unless you are validated by a living legend like Amitabh Bachchan, you have to, make the roles chooses you. I think because it depends on if you're flooded with opportunities or offers to play a character, then you're restricted for a specific timeline where you have to let go of certain offers and take up some. So there you have the liberty and also the opportunity to choose a role. But in my case, I think when a script writer or a director, they feel like Yuvraj can play this character, means they have some sort of an apt judgment about what you are capable of. So I think, as I mentioned earlier, what your past works or your recent works are the comprehensive impression for the directors to select you for that. And it's a way of signing to give respect to the director or the creator, and to fit into the character that he has built specifically for you. So in my case, for Kaki Bola, I think my director Yasir, he knew that I could play football, and I've done comedy roles as well, and I've played the lead. So I fit in all three. I checked all the lists. So he immediately called me and called up for it. And the moment he said, "You are a futsal player in this," yes, I'm done. So you see, I'm in it. I know, don't talk about my salary, nothing. I just come to Singapore and play the character. And I think, you see, the role chooses me, and then I choose the role, and we give the best for the character. And eventually, I'm here sitting with some great actors, and moderated by you in front of my director. I think that sums up everything. When the character chooses you.
As long as your producer's not there when you're saying, "I'll do it for nothing, for no one." Just, Andy.
Yeah, I think when you are starting out looking for roles, you definitely want to get as much casting opportunities as possible, auditions. But I think almost every actor's goal is to never ever have to do a casting ever again. It's one of the most horrible things you have to do. You don't have time to prepare properly for a role. You don't prepare for a role in a day. It just doesn't work that way. And a lot of times, whatever you do during a casting or audition completely doesn't translate to what you're doing on set. It's a completely different skill set, do you feel?
Absolutely.
And sometimes it feels like, okay, wait, am I learning how to perform, give a performance on set, or am I learning how to do a casting audition? And that's why I really hate it. But right now I'm in Taiwan, I'm in new market, even though I'm Singaporean, and I'm doing so much castings. And when there's a casting, I'm so excited because it's an opportunity. So if any of you know any other way for a director or a producer to actually know an actor properly without casting, please let me know. I would rather maybe just put me in a one scene in another project, and just let me be on set and do a role for you, and we get to know each other. I would think that would be a better way. I don't know, what do you think?
I think it's a great idea. We should do something like that. Have a bunch of us put in one film, and so that every market and every region gets to see each other's work.
Well, again, where's the financing coming from? But actually, Andy, I want to follow up on that. Why is it that you don't like casting in Singapore, but you love it in Taiwan?
Because I've done that for so many years in Singapore already. And I mean, Singapore's a small market. I've been around for more than...
It's just a new scenery.
It's a new...
No past traumas are triggering, because it's a completely new scenery.
Yeah, and they don't know me at all. They haven't seen my work. There's a language barrier, and then it's just that's how do you get to know someone, and that's the only way. And I understand that. I hate it, but I understand it. Yeah.
So really, it's about the novelty aspect of it, though, isn't it?
It's just getting to know someone.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And I guess one structural issue especially for the three of you here, for us as well, who are in a smaller country with a smaller population size, is that you very quickly become well known. Your face becomes well known to the casting directors. It doesn't become a novelty anymore,
I mean, I wouldn't say like it's very easy. I definitely don't think it's easy at all.
No, I don't mean that it's easy. I mean that it's actually difficult, because after maybe 3 or 4 years, you're sort of known, you're a known quantity, and maybe they're not so interested in casting known quantities anymore.
I think it's a successful person problem. I think there are many actors. I have many friends who are still slogging it out, even if it's a small market. They're constantly doing commercials. They're doing anything and everything that they can get, So I don't think it's something that's guaranteed that you'll be known. There are many people. I've heard producers be very blunt about it, about talking about someone, and they say, oh, he has a very replaceable face or look or whatever, and so that's the reality of being an actor, I think, and the privilege to be known, I think, cannot be taken for granted. So I count my lucky stars that the casting is aware of me, and I have the opportunity to be considered for parts.
You are so nice, you're saying all these very nice things on TikTok, very cuttable for sound bites on TikTok. Where's the drama? I want the drama. I want you to tell me, no, that guy was, Okay, well, talking about drama, it's a very nice segue to my next question and that's for, I think, Vijay and for Arjo. You guys both play roles in police procedurals, crime thrillers. I think, spoiler alert, if I say you're both on opposite ends of the law in your respective shows.
Yeah.
Maybe would you guys like to just sort of very quickly, for those who don't know, just introduce your character and a very little bit about the story, and then explain how you got into the process of the character. We'll go with Arjo first.
How did I get in?
How do you? What is your process for getting into that character? But explain what your character is as well.
Yeah, Good Day Killer is a psycho thriller film, and definitely it is my first time doing it. How did I get into it?
And of course, you play a detective.
Oh yes, I play a detective as well, and not knowing. I don't want to say it. It's so hard to control.
Okay, well, you're
not
on
knowing.
the trail.
Obviously, there's a lot of revelations along the way towards the story, and it reveals that he's very. You think he's confused, but apparently, he's the one and could be the serial killer. But he's actually a detective as well, and he came from a prestigious family who's been in the police as well for a long time, general specifically. And he was finding himself in that path of his father, and not knowingly he had all these problems with him. So it was a mental problem practically coming from the real biological father. And how did they get into it? Tell you honestly, if there's not much time for everyone, there's not much time for Filipinos. We get prepared a day, a week, 2 weeks before the role. I read the script not even a month before the show. So there's a lot of adjustments that we have to do. And how did they get into it, or how do we get into it? It's a lot of researching on our own, a lot of, how should I say it, videos, I guess, documentaries of how we could actually, get into that person's state or that personality. Because honestly, acting is understanding humanity and explaining it thoroughly in your perspective. But besides that, you can't go out of line. You have to be there. It has to be realistic as possible. So getting into it is a lot of talks with my director, and definitely I am in debt with my co-stars who have helped me, push through all those scenes together. And yeah, I think it's just a lot of, for me specifically, it's a lot of research, because obviously I didn't get to talk to a psycho with a killer. So,
but how do you do the research if you don't have time to get the script earlier?
Definitely. As I said, it's videos, documentaries, interviews that actually don't exist on YouTube. But sometimes, it's really a lot of understanding on my end. It's really a lot of. It's so hard to explain, because as I said, I didn't have the time to immerse. I didn't have the time that much to prepare because I was doing other things as well. But I guess that's what I did. It's just really more on videos and researches, even on real life stories based on different countries, understanding how do they take it, videos of criminals online, videos of how they get into jail before, when they're being sentenced. So it's really a lot of, how should I say it, mental discipline, because
but it must be very difficult when you don't have the script. You don't know where your character is going.
But definitely, I mean, when I got the script, it's already full. So you just literally have to redirect what you were creating towards that personality to that character. So that's practically the preparation, and obviously, just psyching myself practically, how all of us actors get prepared. When you're on the set, there's some things that really change, especially personality based, especially if you get into the depth of the character. I believe some actors bring it home But obviously you have to shut that down because you have a family to go home to, right? And you can't bring it. I can't be holding a knife, walking in the house. I mean, people are like, what the hell are you doing? But yeah, that's about it.
Okay. Vijay? Which, I mean, I thought you would have the harder question to answer because he plays a cop, you play a.
So I played did a show called The Hard. It's about a bunch of police officer are investigating a disappearance of one girl, and then the second girl, and the third girl, and they figure out that there is a pattern. And parallelly, there's this really normal, seemingly very normal Hindi teacher or a professor who's teaching in a girls' college, living a very normal life. He has a wife, he has a child, and looks like a very gentlemanly. Conducts himself very well. Nothing, no red flags, and but they start to think there's something about this man is connected to the case, and we eventually figure out in the first episode itself that this man is probably behind the disappearance of all these girls, and eventually it's around 37, 38 women that this person was. So he has a modus operandi. He didn't actively uh, kill or inflict violence. He would just charm them and get them to agree to marry him and elope from home and spend the night with them, and then give them a pill, which is basically an abortion pill, or what do you call those?
Cyanide, right?
Yeah, just to
No. Sorry.
avoid pregnancy.
That's based on a
Just to
killer
avoid
called the
pregnancy.
cyanide
Yeah,
killer.
it's a, what do you call this pill?
Morning after pill.
Morning after pill.
The actual
and he would dip them in cyanide and give it to them. So I'm playing this person, and I try to understand it, and I could not. So I just acted.
But at the end of the, okay, before we continue, I do not recommend. It's cyanide. It's not a morning after pill. The character that BJ played was based on a real killer called the Cyanide Killer. So I thought, let's just shortcut it, go cyanide. But the killer, spoiler alert again, the killer gives a very impassioned argument for why he does these things that he does.
I mean, there
You know,
yeah, there is, of course, there's some trauma related to childhood and father and mother and everything. But when I try to investigate this part and understand, motivations and stuff, I couldn't find anything, to be very honest. It's just a mind that I don't have access to. I don't understand this person. I don't understand what pleasure or any kind of feeling a person can get by killing somebody.
so then how did you access that role then? Because at some point, you have to be on your side of your character. However awful the villain is, isn't that rule number one of being an actor?
So I tapped onto a certain kind of hatred for certain kind of people, and that is accessible for every human being. But since the crime was never shown and it was never depicted on screen, I think I was spared the horror of going through it. But I feel like if you can set up the premise and keep all the connecting, put all the cogs in the wheel in place, it will start to run on its own. And I would just do a simple shot of, say, going to a bank clerk, signing a check, giving it to him, and smiling. And I'd come back, and my directors would be like, "That was scary." I'm like,
But you're not doing anything.
it was just that I was in that zone where this person could be very, very vengeful and hateful from inside, but he doesn't show it.
Right. Okay. That's very interesting. My next question, I think, would be for Andy and Shrey. You guys were both in shows, Tito Tao and Third Rail. Uniquely for Singapore, very high budget, period drama, massive terrorist attack, sort of genre thriller. Did it change your approach when you went on set, knowing that, say, for example, there's so much money involved every single day that you're shooting? Was there added pressure to what you were doing?
Well, no, I wouldn't say added pressure. I just enjoy it a lot more because I got better costumes and no, for me, I just turn up on set and I've got this cool mustache going on. I've got these flamboyant outfits because this director is super eccentric in his style. Once I get into that getup, I was walking and talking like him. It was just fun, for me. And once you're in a space of play and you're having fun as an actor, I think the choices that you make come out from a place of inspiration. So then it works. So I don't take pressure of whether it's a big production or a small production or whatever. I think no matter what the role is, just once I have the opportunity to prepare, I will come on set and have fun and then see where it goes.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, so it doesn't change my process. I don't think.
I think the acting process it doesn't change, but I definitely, because I understand the producing structure of the country, and when you see a bigger production than usual, my first question is like, where they get money from? And then I will see like how the filmmakers are finding ways to stretch their dollars, maybe cutting into their own profits, maybe using special or smart ways to do it, and then maybe sometimes the welfare gets a little bit cut here and there. And I can understand it, and I understand the pressure of it. So I think I tend to be more careful, and also, I mean, a lot of people don't understand that on set, and the morale can get quite shitty sometimes, right? Because all the money is what you see on screen. Everything else at the back is usually chaos and messy and stuff. And you try and keep the morale of everybody good, and you try and let them understand that, like, look, we are part of this project, and we might not see everything, but let's put our hearts together and try and get it done to the best of our ability. Stray was in third rail with me. He knows what I mean when I say chaos. but I'm very proud of the production because it stretched so much more of what seems to be a ceiling and a limitation for Singapore productions. And I think
Well, could you maybe, I mean, I don't know if you can, but if you could you expand more on, when you say chaos on set? Because I think now we're going to something quite interesting, which is that as, say, lead actors, you guys have an elevated responsibility in many ways. We talk about keeping the morale up of the crew and the cast. You're in positions where you can voice things that junior actors can't voice. Can you explain more about that kind of man management on set?
I don't think I am in the position to do that specifically, but I will try and be in high spirits and be okay when a bad condition comes along.
Right.
Like, and then you'll be like, okay, take it in stride. And I think it spreads, the kind of morale spreads. And sometimes when I'm low, I see, I'm sorry. I see other actors doing it. I see other crew members doing it, and I get reminded as well. So I think it's a group effort.
So it's morale by osmosis, and just. Okay, well, we are almost to the end, but before I open this up to just one or two quick questions from the crowd, one of my personal heroes, James Lipton, who ran the interviews with Inside the Actor Studio, always ended with a questionnaire by Bernard Pivot. So I'm going to do the same thing for you. I'm just going to shamelessly rip him off, but I'm going to give you guys 2 questions each. It's actually 10 questions, but I'll give you guys 2 questions each. Shall I? So starting from Yuvraj. That's very fast, very quick one. What is your favorite word?
Favorite
Word.
word? Action.
What is your least favorite word?
Action.
Well done. All right, Andy. What turns you on creatively?
Turns me on creatively. Talent and passion.
Okay. What turns you off?
Yeah.
Off.
Indifference.
Yeah. Very nice. DJ, what sound or noise do you love?
I mean, I don't love it, but no, sorry. That's not the right one. I think I like my girlfriend's giggle.
Oh, that's lovely. Guys, come on. That's fantastic. Okay, well, what sound or noise do you hate?
So when I'm sending money, there's a sound that comes. Yeah,
That's the sound of this. Your money flying.
money's
away,
just
isn't it?
going out.
That's a very good answer. Okay, Shrey.
Okay.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
What? Sorry?
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt?
Wow.
I
Another-
gave these questions to all of you guys, Ben, by the way.
No, I didn't get
Oh, you didn't
these.
get it. Sorry, my bad.
No, so but it's fun. It's fun. I have the best profession. I got to play all the professions. So
Oh, what?
But okay, one that I'll get to attempt. Wow. I think I would say pilot.
Good.
I think it would be an incredible experience to just soar in the air. But I'm glad that I'm an actor and I can do that with green screen. I don't think I'll attempt it in real life, but I think it would be quite the profession.
Okay, and what profession would you not like to attempt?
Being a doctor, like a surgeon. Ugh, no, with blood. And I think fake blood is much better. Real blood, having to deal with all the organs. No.
Thank you for not becoming a doctor.
Yeah. Not good for me, not good for the world.
Which, you know, when you're an Asian kid, it's more likely than not, isn't it? Okay, and finally, Arjo, and I apologize because I know you're in politics as well, but I'm going to ask you this. What is your favorite curse word?
Fuck.
Well done.
Yeah.
I love it. And if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God tell you when you reach the pearly gates?
Sorry?
If heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
Welcome home.
Well done. Thank you, everyone. Your actors. We have 4 more minutes, so we have time for one question. Does anyone want to ask a question? No? We have 4 more minutes, guys.
Don't be shy here.
Don't be shy.
Great. Over there.
What would be your ultimate role?
What would be your ultimate role to perform? I think everyone would love a chance to hit that. Let's go. Thank you for the question.
Of course, the ultimate role I would like to play a sportsman because before I venture into acting, I was a professional footballer until I went twice under the knife for my ACL surgery. It was a hard road to recovery. So it's always about sports for me. It's something that I regret till date. So that is why I even chose up Takibola. So a footballer character role I would like to play sooner before I turn old. So yeah, that's the character. A footballer. Yeah.
I would love to do a role where I'm playing a dancer or a singer because I don't know these skills. I would get to learn and maybe keep them for life.
I guess for me, if there could be a biopic on Shah Rukh Khan, wow, that would be the ultimate goal and ultimate challenge. I'll probably be crucified for it anyway. But I think, like, artistically, it would be Christoph Waltz's performance in Inglourious Bastards. I mean,
There's a lot, to be honest. But doing all these crazy roles, I'm sure, with the actors I'm with, I want to go back to where I started, which was dancing. Because when I started acting, I stopped dancing. And it's one of the things I was doing since I was a kid. I used to go around, compete. And I think that's going back to my roots because that's where I learned how to follow someone, where I learned my discipline, and especially how to collaborate with different people coming from different walks of life. So I guess dancing, a dancing film.
Andy.
I don't have an answer. I don't have a specific role I want to play. I just want to have enough resources to prep properly and be on set and have the luxury of time and support for a full scene to be played out. Yeah, I think to me that's more important than the role. Yeah.
That's true. That's true. And unfortunately, we have also run out of time for here. So thank you all very much once more, please. Round of applause.